I'm still in the midst of me trying to deal with a point in.
Okay, who can read it?
Yeah, let him go, bro.
Thank you. In 1 Timothy chapter 2, we see Paul saying, make prayers.
There's the debate between Joel from Atlanta. Formerly, he was bound down. He was under the tutelage of Priest Sabak, HOI. He broke off, set up his own thing. But Jesus, Most High's not dealing with him. I mean, I don't know that much of him, but I do know he teaches that the mark of the beast is something other than the microchip. So just based on that alone, you're done.
Intercession, giving of thanks for pos anthropos, all men, all humanity. That's the Greek word there. And then he says, for kings and for all who are in authority. What king did the nation of Israel have in the first century that Paul is telling Timothy that we should pray for?
If he said kings, that means every king. Whether it be Nero, whether it be Herod the Great. Out of when he died, his son, he had there was a clan of them. We call it dynasty. And then you had Herod the Great died, his son died. He had more than one son. One became son. They became the so-called royal family of the Jews. So anyone that died, in their eyes,
I guess it would be whoever followed after Herod when he died and got.
Okay, was that an Israelite?
That could be talking about when.
All right, Shalom. First off, I want to start up by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Rakar Kadash. That's all praises to the world calls God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh. By Hashem in the name Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son. Bible. Go to the brother page so I can get this off. Yeah, I wanted to go into this. I'm gonna bring up the original. You know, bros should be subscribed to Elder Apostle Tahar's channel. I wanted to go into how Genesis is these niggas have 100% sold out, and they're reprobates. They're not walking with the Lord. They don't care about the sheep. They don't care about the elect, and they disregarding scriptures because they got a bag in their hand. They want to be good. So play this. We'll get into it, man.
I'm still in the midst of me trying to deal with a point in.
Okay, who can read it?
Yeah, let him go, bro.
In 1 Timothy chapter 2, we see Paul saying, make prayers, intercession, giving of thanks for pos anthropos, all men, all humanity. That's the Greek word there. And then he says, for kings and for all who are in authority. What king did the nation of Israel have in the first century that Paul is telling Timothy that we should pray for?
I guess it would be whoever followed after Herod when he died and got.
Okay, was that an Israelite?
In your paradigm.
And in your paradigm?
No, in my paradigm, I wouldn't say what you're saying right now. So I'm gonna walk with you.
But I'm not saying anything. I'm asking you a question, brother.
No, you asking me a question, but then you leading me in the understanding. I'm not
leading you anywhere. I'm asking you a question.
The way you understand it is all men means all people. So I got to think about it from your point of view. I think it would be who followed after Herod, because Herod died. He got filled with worms.
Okay, so it says in all who are.
That's what you say.
Okay, perfect. So that's not an Israelite. So when Paul says all men, then follows it up with a person who you agree is not an Israelite. Is Paul consistent with his usage of pos anthropos in 1 Timothy chapter 2?
I don't know.
Or is he inconsistent? He's inconsistent?
I don't know.
You don't know if Paul's consistent enough? You don't know if
I would have to look at another usage of that word and see how
I'm saying within the context of 1 Timothy.
Yo!
Yeah. Again, the point of contention is not if all.
If you don't understand, ask a question.
Okay.
You might not know what we're talking about right now.
Here's the issue.
Yeah, I understand. Can I answer that?
Okay.
No, wait, hold on. This is it's educational, bro.
3 John 1.
I don't care if y'all have favorite doctrine that you prefer, please have it, but let it be educational. So what he's arguing is in 1 Timothy it says all men, and what I used in 3 John just says all. But it's the descriptor is describing men in both places. So the all don't mean all in one place. It's an impossibility. But yet the word all is used. That's what I'm saying to him. For everybody that don't
I understand your point. But
I know you do. Wait 1 second.
Okay,
bro.
you're talking to the crowd?
Yes, because they don't know everything.
Okay.
They don't know. So
Right.
that's what we're talking about right now. And Hasad is saying, well, in my verse, it says all men, but he's arguing it as if that changes the usage of all.
No. But here's the point, and I hear your question. Here's the main point, though, brother. If we agree, Paul says pas anthropos, even if in the situation you gave, was he talking about Herod? Well, you already agreed earlier, essentially, that he's talking about.
Well, all the kings that followed was pieces of shit.
They were, and to hell with them. But here's the point. The
No,
point
you
is,
can't say to hell with them because Paul, in your paradigm,
I'm
is
saying that in retrospect, Joel, I'm saying that in retrospect. In retrospect, I can look back and see that they lived a horrible life, and so God dealt
Even
with them.
Nero,
Beautiful.
you would say
Beautiful.
intercede for him?
Brother, what I asked that God, I'm going to answer your question directly.
Because I
Wouldn't
take all your
ask-
questions. Honest, give me that.
I believe Nero is the one who killed the Apostle Paul, right?
But give me
If I
that for
remember.
a second. I answer every question you ask me. I answer.
Yeah,
I
I'm answering you right now, brother. I promise you. I believe Nero is the one who killed the Apostle Paul by beheading, if I'm correct.
But we're
Wouldn't
going
I
to pray
pray?
and intercede.
Wouldn't I ask God, change this guy's heart? He's trying to kill us. Shouldn't we ask that God makes, because we're going to complain about this guy being a bad person. So shouldn't we want him to be a good person? Shouldn't we want him to be a good person?
Hassan,
Or else why complain about bad people?
Hassan, who you think
Don't you want bad
You're not bringing me to this
people, or do
verse.
we want everybody to just be a piece of shit and never change it?
Hassan, who you think you're talking to? You're not bringing me to this verse to argue. Does the Bible ever say, pray for the king's heart to be kind towards us? You bringing me to this verse to say that all people are included, huh?
Right. You're not.
That the city that you in don't fall. But none of those people was ever included in the salvation plan.
So what about verse 4, brother? Who have possible?
I'm trying to get to it.
Go ahead,
If
brother.
you allow me.
Go ahead, and I got to take that. And I got to.
You know what I'm saying? I can do it for myself.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So we see that motif often. But I wouldn't have the man's Christ sacrifice then offered to them. Because there was no offer for Pharaoh. What this does is this causes a problem. This makes the Lord's ways unequal. And I don't believe the Lord's ways are unequal. If anybody's ways are unequal, it's ours. I don't see the Most High through the history of the Bible operating that way. I see a respect for the kings of the other nations when they have rulership over the people. But I don't see, for instance, go to Esdras, not second Esdras, 4:1. Read that real quick.
Yeah, they didn't want to help us. They wanted to help us. But
If the doctrine, all right, then he understands what I'm talking about.
yeah, I mean, I just don't think.
But if the doctrine was that,
yeah.
if the doctrine was that the Lord's sentiment was consistently, because you tried to say that Jeremiah 29 could have that sense too. If the doctrine was that the Lord's purpose was to bring these other nation kings in, then immediately Ezra and Yeshua and the elders was immediately going off because that wasn't their sentiment.
Yeah, it's a completely separate context, brother. God dealt
Even
with him.
Nero,
Beautiful.
you would say
Beautiful.
intercede for him?
So shouldn't we want him to be a good person? God dealt
Even
with him.
Nero,
So shouldn't we want him to be a good person? God dealt
even
with him.
Nero.
So shouldn't
I
we
want to give
want
all
him
the
to be-
praises and the honor to Yahweh.
Yeah. So with that being said, all the bullshit that they brought out, now these niggas is backpedaling, going back on things. And this is the going crazy with all these other groups. And at the end of the day, these dudes ain't listening. They're not here to do anything on the right path. I think Hasad are really a heathen, bro. The way you hear him, the way you heard him justify his stance is like he really believed in his stance. I think haka, I think that nigga is being a real deceiver. That nigga is really going along to get his paycheck. But Hasad, that nigga is being sincerely a demon because he a heathen, bro. I speak as a man. I don't know for sure. But this whole mindset of, oh, the heathen could have a chance to... No, there's no fucking chance. You literally have to throw away certain scriptures for your point to make sense. And it don't work. But at the end of the day, you've been warning all these people that have sitting here out there, even these dudes, because the Elder Yashawamba did a lesson. See if I can go to it real quick. The Elder Yashawamba did a lesson on this.
But see, the
and
master
these dudes,
interview as a means to edify.
I think this is them. Yeah, I think this is they shit right here. These dudes sat there, instead of listening to the entirety of the lesson, they belted out what was in their heart. Right? They thought the elder was talking about them, but he was talking about the Genesis niggas. And their response is, I'm just trying to figure out how you say we are off because we conduct an interview. Do you even know what we teach? Or you just going to bear false witness because the history y'all share with Genesis, I never got into the convo when basically the entire community says y'all bug outs, but I see why they say that, why they say what they say, shaking my head. So these niggas is already thinking about men that really, we're the ones that teach and hold prophecy. And it's cool for you to say this and that. But at the end of the day, we see that this is the spirit of a lot of you jakes. And this whole stuff with Genesis, hey, it's revealing even more people what they thought about the men that really out here laboring. Nobody put as much work up as our elders and our apostles. Doesn't promote it to the body to put as much work up for the Heavenly Father and stay consistent and never change the doctrine. Stay fervent in this thing, fully go into breakdowns, everything like that. You don't get that in the way you get it from Great Millstone and these other camps. But everybody's got a time where they want to fix their lips to talk shit, or they're just changing up the doctrine. And when they are reproved, they refuse to sit here and take the correction. This is 2 Peter 3 and 16. It says, as also in his epistle speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable rest, as they do also the other scriptures, unto their own destruction. And that's what you see in Genesis do right now. And a lot of niggas take the same stance. A lot of Jake take the same stance because they don't understand this thing. They buck up. They don't try to sit there and really let the spirit work for them to go precept upon precept and get the understanding. And the Lord ain't doing with them. So what? They go off. But that's when the Lord send men to get things back on course. But a lot of Jake has refused to listen to those men. This is Jeremiah 22 and 21. It says, I spake I expect unto thee in thy prosperity. And that's what the Lord's been doing. He's corrected Genesis. This nigga Haka said, when I get off of the camera, I go home to something mean in the garage. I got a big house. Them niggas has been making money off of the ministry. They made this thing a thing of mart. The scriptures tell you, buy the word, sell it not. So in their prosperity, the Lord had bros cutting into them every time they went off. Right? It says, I spake unto thee in thy prosperity, but thou saidest, I will not hear. This hath been thy manner from thy youth, that thou obeyest not my voice. And the voice of the Lord is spoken through men. You should know who the real teachers are once you start hearing these breakdowns and everything come out. It's evident who the Lord's dealing with. You can't, even Paul said, I will not know the speech. Let me get that. This is 1 Corinthians 4 and 19. It says, but I will come to you shortly, if Yahweh will, and will know not the speech of them which are puffed up, but the power. I don't want to hear you talk all this big stuff and think that you eloquent. No. Paul said, we're going to see if the Spirit is really dealing. For the kingdom of the Most High is not in word, but in power. Right? Are you really going through these scriptures like that? Are you breaking down the deep things? Are you pushing out for real judgment? When you go among Great Millstone, if there's a bug out, he is put on Front Street. He is made known that this is somebody you're not supposed to fuck with. Right? We don't have a body of things come around where it's just bullshit happening within the body like it is in these other camps. Right? If somebody's stealing, we curse that nigga out and tell him, hey, the Lord is going to put your ass to death. Right? And I've seen it done many times, but in these other camps, nah, things get pushed under the rug. Wickedness ends up happening. And nobody says nothing. Then everybody finds out a little while later. Like, hey, man, you know who the Lord's working with. Jeremiah 5:2, it says, and though they say, Yahweh liveth, surely they swear falsely. Is this one I wanted? Yeah, verse 3. It says, O Yahweh, are not thy eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction. And when y'all got chastised the first time you brought this out, now you just doubling down. How many times over the years has Sakari and these other camps been told about themselves and how they moving is off? But here it is. They don't receive the correction. They just double down in whatever they're doing. They have made their faces harder than rock. They have refused to return. And that's what you see constantly. It doesn't matter what bros can bring out a million scriptures. A nigga that sold out, he ain't gonna listen. And a rebellious nigga ain't never gonna listen. The scriptures say 1,000 stripes enter into a fool. Let me get it. This is, here it is. Proverbs 17:10. It says, a reproof entereth more into a wise man than 100 stripes into a fool. And that's what these niggas are. They just foolish ass little kids that need whoopings. And the Lord gonna provide the whooping. Matthew 11:17, it says, in saying, we have piped unto you, and ye have not danced, and we have mourned unto you, and you have not lamented. And that's what's happened. Bros have gone into these things and the prophecies, breakdowns of these scriptures, acknowledging them, and the niggas is doubling down. And we know it's because you sold out. And you ain't preparing Jake for these days. You making it so that niggas think they're going to sit here and have the one scripture to make Esau change his mind. And now he's going to be more gravitating to holiness. That's not in the fucking script. It's not in the plans. Right? The scriptures say, can a leopard change his spots? The scriptures even tell you that the Lord created the wicked for the day of evil. Right? The Lord made two lots, one vessel to wrath, one vessel to honor. Right? And you trying to sit here and say that the vessel of wrath, the wicked, can be turned into this vessel of honor and get salvation right along with the Israelites. No, there's none of that. Right? The Lord said it in what is that one? Oh, here it is. It's in Ezra's. You sitting there telling Jake that there's somehow a way that the heathen can get salvation, but peep this. This is I gotta just read the whole thing. Now, for you to sit here and say that and act like the heathen could get some salvation, well, consider this point. 2 Ezra 3:28, it says, "Are their deeds better than any that inhabit Babylon?" So, like, are their deeds then any better that inhabit Babylon, meaning the heathen, that they should therefore have the dominion over Zion? For when I came thither, I had seen impieties without number. Then my soul saw many evildoers in this 30th year, so that my heart failed. And I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, and have spared wicked doers, and has destroyed thy people, and has preserved thine enemies, and has not signified it. It says, I do not remember how this way may be left. Are they then of Babylon better than they of Sion? Or is there any other people that knoweth thee besides Israel? Or what generation hath so believed thy covenants as Jacob? You see, you got to believe this truth in order to follow it. You can't get salvation if you're not following this truth. And the heathen were never given a spirit to gravitate unto salvation, gravitate unto the truth. Remember, the scriptures say even the spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive. Everybody that's out there, the heathen, they're of the world. They can't receive the truth. It says, or is there any other people that knoweth thee besides Israel? Or what generation has so believed thy covenants as Jacob? And yet their reward appeareth not, and their labor had no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and see that they flow in wealth. See, if the heathen are flowing in wealth, what do they need to be saved by? What salvation do they need? They're in their kingdom. Well, anything that happens at this point is something of their making. They got to be saved from themselves. And think not upon thy commandments. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and theirs also that dwell in the world. And so shall thy name be nowhere be, and so shall thy name nowhere be found, but in Israel. It says it right there. The name of the Lord, you got to call on the Lord to be saved. So the name of the Lord isn't going to be found anywhere but in Israel. How the hell did the heathen get salvation? It says, or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? And now he'll read this and be like, oh, well, the heathen have sinned, correct? They have them faith, but the heathen weren't under the covenant. It says, or what people have so kept thy commandments? Thou shalt find that Israel by name had kept thy precepts, but not the heathen. So how the hell are the heathen going to be saved and delivered out of this destruction, but they not doing what the Lord said? That don't make sense. So Jake got to follow the word of the Lord to the T. And you niggas will talk about the law. But at the same time, Esau can get in, but he ain't keeping none of what the Lord said. You niggas is just off. Off than a motherfucker, man. It's Amos 6:3. Amos 6:3. Ye that put far away the evil day and cause the seed of violence to come near. And that's what this is doing. Because you niggas don't care about the flock. You niggas do not care about the flock. All that's happening, you're going to tell Jake that, oh, Esau could be saved. When you tell a nigga that's simple, he'll look at Esau like he could possibly be his friend. You putting far away the evil day, and now you causing violence to come near. Because now you're going to put Jake at peace with these heathen that ain't got no peace with them. It says, they lie upon beds of ivory and stretch themselves upon the couch, their couches, and eat the lambs out of the flock and the calves out of the midst of the stall. And Deacon Haka, let me find something, man. Unfortunately, man, I wasn't able to find it. Deacon Haka be putting up all type of videos of him with his multiple wives, all the kids in the room, what they eating. This nigga living good. He's on them beds of ivory. He's stretched out on those couches. He's eating the lambs out of the flock. He's taking from the people that these niggas was pulling in $50K a month and splitting it and more. Selling breakdowns, selling lessons, all that shit. Eating out of the flock and the calves out of the midst of the stall that chant to the sound of the viol. Weren't these niggas all trying to say Israelite music? They was hating me because I was pulling up in a Benz. Nobody gave a fuck about your Benz, nigga. And invent to themselves instruments like music like David. They drink wine in bowls and anoint themselves with the chief ointments, but they are not grieved for the affliction of Joseph. These niggas ain't grieved. When you look at these niggas, they are not grieved with the affliction of Jake, man. Because in their mind, they're worried about how they gonna make their next dollar. And this sellout is just this selling out is just showing that they already made the deal. Now they just gotta perform the actions of the deal. And you niggas ain't learned through history. Yeah, Esau don't keep his deals the way you think. Isaiah 40. And 15. Behold, the nations are as the drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh the isles as a very little thing. That's another scripture telling you that the heathen ain't nothing to the Lord. There's one also in Numbers. Get the one in Numbers 23. In 9, it says, from the top of the rocks I see him, from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone. And those people are obviously talking about the Israelites. And shall not be reckoned among the nations. Man, we're not going to be numbered among the nations. We're going to be separate. How the heathen get salvation if we're going to be separate? There's no salvation for the heathen, man. 2 Ezra 6 and 54. See, your argument don't make sense once you start going into these scriptures like this, because then it brings up the question, well, with these particular, man, it's the scriptures of the Lord. When you really break this thing down, it doesn't leave up anything for interpretation. It says, 2 Ezra 6 and 54, and it says, after these, Adam also, whom thou madest, Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, right? Everybody comes from Adam, because Adam, through Adam came the elect line, and then you have the flood, right? Then you had Ham, Shem. Why am I getting this wrong? Golly. Then you had Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And out of Shem's line came the elect. Right? So everybody comes through that, right? Of him come we all. And the people also whom thou hast chosen, the elect line through Shem, it says, all this have I spoken before thee, O Yahweh, because thou madest the world for our sakes. All as for the other people, talking about the heathen, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing. So why would he consider, if they're nothing, why would he consider them for salvation? But be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto the drop that falleth from a vessel. They ain't shit in the Lord's eyes. So why would the Lord worry about saving something that he tells you they ain't nothing? They're next to nothing. You see, these niggas at Genesis, man, bro, these niggas is off. And the Lord is about to start clipping niggas' wings, man, and blowing out candles. So, shalom.